Wow, wow, wow. Say it ain't so. Another video from me, and this time it didn't take 2 months to make. I can't believe it. About a year ago, I made a video talking about my favourite players in the NRL. In fact, it was a top 10 list, and I went through and picked my top 10 players. Now, a lot can change in a year, therefore, a lot can change in terms of your favourite players. Now, I'm not going to be doing a top 10 list this time, just a top 5 list. Now, things can change, so I might do a few different ones throughout the year as my favourite players change. But I thought it was about time I do an updated list of my top 5 players in the NRL. Now, I've got to admit, trying to put my favourite players into a top 5 list was actually a lot more difficult than I thought. Especially, like, I'd have a list and I'd go, oh yeah, this guy, I forgot about him. And also, I didn't want to have a top 5 list of all Bulldogs players. Because, let's be honest, Bulldogs players are going to be my favourite players first and foremost. Because they're my team. So there is going to be a bit of bias. And you'll probably find there's a bit of bias in this list coming up. But yeah, leaving a comment section below, like I said, do your own top 5 list. And you'll probably see how hard it actually is to come up with a set in stone top 5 favourite players of your own. Anyways, time to get into my list. Now, this is in no order. This is just a top 5 players. Just because I do the player first doesn't mean they're my favourite. It's just more of they were the first to come to mind. So, the first player that I'm going to be talking about is Josh Reynolds. Now, I've never cried when a player has left the team, but if there was ever going to be a time where I was going to cry about a player leaving the Bulldogs, it probably would have been Josh Reynolds leaving. The heart and soul, it was what it felt like. Him and James Graham both leaving in the same year really does signal the rebuild the Bulldogs are going through. But it's been there for a long, long time. I remember watching him come through the juniors, so it was really nice to see Josh Reynolds go through the 20s. I remember him coming off the bench in the 20s, then going into reserve grade, then first grade, Origin. I mean, there's so many good memories from Josh Reynolds at the Bulldogs as to why he's on my top 5 players list. He might be a grub. He is kind of grubby. Not in the sense that he will like try and break a guy's leg or something, like Adam Blair's in that, but in the sense that he did a lot of talking and would try and rile up the other team, which worked sometimes, didn't work some other times. You couldn't really ask for anything more of a player though from Josh Reynolds. Effort-wise, you could ask for less brain snaps and stuff and errors, but the effort was always there. Like, there was never a time. Sometimes you watch players and you go, "Oh my God, like, are they even trying?" You never had this thought with Josh Reynolds, which was great, and I think it was why a lot of Bulldogs fans loved him. Obviously, him being a junior played a big part in it, but just the effort was there all the time, and that's what made him so likable for Bulldogs fans. Maybe not the rest of the league, but for the Bulldogs fans, he was. And I think the Tigers will experience that this year. That'll actually be interesting to see what it's like having our grub not be our grub anymore. We'll see if all these little niggling and shit will make me change my thoughts on him. I'd think probably not, because I didn't really turn on Michael Ennis, but yeah, just interesting to see if him doing it for another team will make me change my thoughts on him. But for now, he's in the top 5. The next player, I don't think is any surprise. It's Shawn Johnson. Now, he's the only Warrior to feature in this list. It could have had Tuivasa-Sheck in there as well, but Shawn Johnson, I went for him over Tuivasa-Sheck. Just, I don't know. I really like Shawn Johnson. I think most young fans like Shawn Johnson. In fact, I think like most NRL fans like Shawn Johnson. When he's on, there's no one better to watch, let's be honest. His step is incredible. Just, he's got the speed, he's got the step, he's got the skill, he's got everything. It's just a matter of putting it all together consistently. Fortunately, he hasn't been able to do that thus far, and it seems these days, if he gets in a bit of form, you can bet that he's got an injury just around the corner, and a pretty lengthy one at that, usually a season-ending one. So hopefully for Warriors fans' sake, I don't think it's going to be a good year for yours, but hopefully for your sake, Shawn Johnson can be fit and firing for the rest of the season. Well, not the rest of the season, for the whole season, because he's a great player, and that's exactly why he's on my top 5 list. I'd love to have him at the Bulldogs. Now, the third player on this list is, in fact, another halves player. I'm sorry for the people who are going, "Oh my God, please not another halves player." But it is. Don't worry, it's the last halves player on this list, and it is Cory Norman from the Eels. Now, I don't like the Eels as a team, but I do like Cory Norman. I do like a few of the players from the Eels. Gutherson's another one. I like Frank Pritchard, he's retired now, but there's a fair few Eels players I do like individually. I just don't like their team though. But Cory Norman is a very, very good player. Probably just missing that consistency, otherwise he'd be in the talks of State of Origin. I know he already kind of is, but he just needs to add a little bit more consistency. But he's very entertaining to watch on the field and off the field as well. If you've seen the vlogs for the YKTR, the rules with Isaac John and Seguiaro. Seguiaro is another one that I do like. Narrowly just missed out on the list, although Norman's had a few incidents off the field. He's very, very entertaining. I love the vlogs, and that's probably more the reason why he's in the top 5 other than anything else. I mean, you get a lot of good players, but if you can find someone who's entertaining off the field as well, then that's going to go a long way into being one of your favorite players, and that's exactly what he is. I suggest you all go and watch their vlogs. They're mostly about their clothing line, but you do get a glimpse into a bit of their training and just their general lives, really. I know this sounds like a bit of a plug, it's not, but I've been watching the YKTR boys from the start, so I suggest you do it as well. Moving on to the 4th player of this list, and I'm surprised it's taken this long to mention a proper Bulldogs player. I know we had Josh Reynolds before, but he's a Tiger now. This is our first official Bulldogs player of my top 5, and it's the captain, Josh Jackson. It sounds weird saying the captain, Josh Jackson. He's only just recently taken over from James Graham. In fact, James Graham probably unlucky to not make this list, because I can reveal he's not in the list. But yeah, Jacko, I absolutely love Josh Jackson. He's one of those players that maybe other teams don't appreciate as much as what like your team's fan base does. I feel like the rest of the league doesn't really respect him that much. Like, they know he's a decent player, but they don't realize how good he actually is, as to why you see people blowing up at him getting picked for Origin, which I think is just crazy. I think Josh Jackson is made for Origin. He's a workhorse, but he's also someone who's not just like, he's not like a Sean Fensom or someone where is literally his role is just to tackle. Like, this dude is a pretty good runner. He's one of the best tacklers, but like he played in the halves one game, he did pretty well. Like, the dude's not a total just like one-dimensional player. Like, he's a pretty solid player all around, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up playing lock this year. But yeah, he's pretty versatile as well. If someone gets injured, he ends up in the centers. He's kind of Mr. Fix-It for the Bulldogs. Well, he's as close as we're going to get to a Mr. Fix-It. But just love having dedication. It's kind of like Josh Reynolds. He's another one who's all effort. Even if he's having not one of his best games, you know, at least going to have him trying. Like, there's never a game where you can say Josh Jackson didn't try, and that's why he's also so likable. And unlike Josh Reynolds, he's kind of quiet. You don't really see him mouthing off too much. Interesting to see how he goes with the captaincy, you know, talking to the media a lot more, because he's not one of those people who sort of get on social media all the time or anything like that. So pretty much he's in this top 5 purely based on performance. And yeah, if every team had a Josh Jackson, I think he'd be one of their favourites as well. And they probably do. There's probably an equivalent in every sort of side. But yeah, just Josh Jackson. I just love Josh Jackson. Sorry, he had to be in this list. Now we move on to the last player of this list, and it's actually another former Bulldog. Actually, funnily enough, a guy who came into grade around the same time as Josh Jackson, definitely the same year, and it's Dale Finucane. Now, I was very gutted for him when he lost the premiership with the Bulldogs. 2 times we lost, in fact, 1 to the Storm, but now he's moved on to the Storm. He won a premiership, and I was so happy for him. I was glad that the Storm won. I thought they were the best team all year, but I was mostly happy that Dale Finucane got a premiership ring, because I thought it was well deserved. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays for New South Wales in the near future. I think he's definitely in the mix. He's not like a flashy player or anything, but and it's one of those ones where I can't really explain that well why he's one of my favourite players, but he just is. I guess seeing him come through the ranks at the Bulldogs did help a lot. I mean, there's going to be a bias in this list, I've already said that, but he's another one like Jackson. If you've got a player like that in your side, you're probably going to like him. I can't see any reason to not like a Dale Finucane like player. It's just he's a great player. That's all I can say, really. And he's pretty quiet off the field. Not really too many incidents. Not really on social media or anything. So once again, another decision based purely off his on-field performances. But yeah, he hits hard. He tackles hard. He runs hard. That's just how he goes. He goes all out every single game. And you know, it's another one of it's another case of you know, if he has a bad game, at least you know he's trying. Like, it's just, I can't stress that enough. There's a lot of plays, Tony wins and stuff, where you just watch him and you're like, man, are you actually even trying, like, for real? But you're never going to question that with Dale Finucane. And I think he's probably someone like Josh Jackson who a lot of other players don't, a lot of other fans don't really recognise as being a good player. But I really like him, and I wish he was still at the Bulldogs. I never understood him believing the Bulldogs. Thought he was the future. Still do think he's the future. Now, guys, that is the end of the video. I'm very interested to see your top 5 players. So make sure you leave in the comment section below your top 5 favourite players in the NRL. I just want to compare them, and I want to see who are some common names. I expect to see a lot of Jonathan Thurstons and Shawn Johnsons, and maybe even a player like Anthony Milford or something. But yeah, yeah, hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. It's MrLuke on YT. My Snapchat is also MrLuke on YT if you want to go and add me on that. My Facebook page is in the description below. And I can't believe I just nailed my ending, or the outro, or until now. Anyways, just blown it. I'll end it now. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.